All right, we've got the little Atlas milling machine set up here, and this is our upper arm for the knurling tool. I flipped it over. I'm going to cut the slots to hold the knurls in here. We want them 1/8 wide. I've got a 1/4 inch wide mill. Now this arbor is going to look like it's really wonky. I don't know if you're going to see that or not, but it's because I got a 7/8 arbor set up in here and I did not have enough spacers, so I've got some 1-inch spacers on here. So we're running pretty good, but the arbors or the spacers make it look like it's really running eccentric all the way around. So anyway, we're just going to go ahead and cut. This is kind of an eyeball cut. I don't know exactly how deep I'm going to make it or how far in I'm going to cut it. Like I say, we're just going to eyeball it. We're going to go in with this cutter, then we're going to move it over about 50 thousandths, and then we'll make our second cut. All right, well, let's see what that looks like. I'm just going to do a couple little stupid checks here. Make sure we're where we think we should be. 130, so if we go, we're going to move over 50, I think, here. Let me grab a knurl and see if that's going to slide in there and how that's going to fit. A little straight knurl here. So we're spinning freely. We got a minimal gap here. We got a little more gap up here. Problem is I probably could have tilted this a little bit and it would have cut evenly on both ways. But with this size cutter and this size arbor, why, well, arbor spacers don't make any difference. That is a 7/8 spacer up against it. Why, we're bottoming out against the spacers with the end of our arm here. So anyway, that will work just fine. I'm going to set up and do the other one the same way, and then we can cut our pins and our locks and go from there. I'm going to try and get you in real tight here so you can see what's going on. I'm working on the locks that hold the pins in, and what they are, and I've already rough cut my pins right here, and they're going to slide right in here just like this, with our knurl in the middle, of course. And then we've slotted this pin, and what there is there's a little lock that's going to slide in on underneath each of those and be screwed in through the side to retain that pin in place. So I've already got my pin laid out, or for both of these pins, and we're going to do a little jig for all of this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill these for a number 31. I don't remember exactly what the metric size is, but we're going to drill it with a number 31, which is awful close to what the screw is. And then we'll go ahead and drill both of the holes, and we've got both ends here. So what's going to happen is the outer edges will be rounded on these. They'll be beveled down, and then there'll be the flat that will be narrowed down on this edge to fit in the slot in the pin. And they're only 5/16 wide, whereas this is 3/8 stock. So I'm going to drill these and then countersink them. And I'm not going to get too crazy about it. I'm going to do it right here, basically freehand on the mill. I've already center punched them. And we'll drill and countersink them. Then I'll get another little piece of aluminum. We'll drill and tap that, screw this down to it, and then we'll do our machining in between here. So hopefully you've got a view of this. Like I say, I'll try and bring you in real tight. I realize some of the stuff that I've done here recently, you haven't been able to really see that close. Okay, there's both our holes drilled. A little warm already. Okay, the countersink I'm using this is just an aviation countersink that was in something that I've got. Looks like this had a drill bit on the end that was broken off at one time. It's a real good countersink for little stuff like this, I've discovered. So this is not one I use in the airplane factory, but I do use it right here. So all we're going to do is countersink them to match that head diameter. Like that. There we are, both ends. So now I'm just going to take a little piece of aluminum and we'll set it up. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and narrow this down. I'm going to take that off. And then we'll just take a little piece of aluminum, we'll drill and tap it to match this, and we'll screw this down in position, and then we can machine our internal features there, and then we're just going to freehand radius this on the belt sander. There's no sense in getting too excited about all of this. Well, I've had to make a little change here. I had to change out my screws from the M3s to a 648 because I did not have a M3 tap, and I ran over to my little Ace Hardware over here, and they didn't have any unless I bought a complete kit of metric stuff. So we're just going to go with a 632 on these, Heads are a little bit bigger, but it'll still fit in there and do okay. So this is just a piece of scrap aluminum I had, and we are going to deck it off just so we got a nice flat piece. For no other reason than that. And that cutout is there for no other reason than I want to use it as a gauge to check my thickness of my stock on the pin. And I'll show you that when we get that far. There we go. Now we are secured down there. So let's go ahead and put our mill back in. Okay, and we're going to use that as our width. And we're just going to narrow that down. I don't remember what the dimension is. I looked at it over there, but we're just going to narrow it down until we get a nice fit for our little lock there. and I think I like that right there. That takes care of that. Now they show a little bevel on here. I don't have anything set up in a tool holder, but I think we'll look and see what we've got for a bevel. Otherwise, we'll take a ball end mill and just give us a nice little blend in there. I've got a 60-degree chamfer mill here. I could also just use a countersink. Run it a little bit slower. Let's run it a little bit faster than that. This is all kind of in the wind anyway. It's not that important dimension-wise. And then we'll just cut this. We'll just split this and cut it off wherever we need it to be. We'll radius these edges by hand will be the next thing. I'll take that to the belt sander, just radius this around, and then we can go ahead and finish fitting them. Well, here's my little pieces here. And there's what they look like when they're pretty well finished up. Now, the way they'll fit is we'll take an arm. It actually goes in from this side, and that's a rough edge, so we'll have to go through from this side because I've left them long just with a saw cut. Then our little if I can quit fumbling around here, they'll fit in our little slot in our pin, and that will lock our pin in place. And then these will be drilled and tapped to hold the little locks in place. So I'm going to go back over to the mill, and we're going to cut those next, or drill and tap those, and then other than to cut the length of the pins, which I left them extremely long just to make sure I had lots of material, and I wanted to fit them down so that they were equal on both sides with the locks in place. There can be a little bit of variation right there. So let's go over and drill and tap these and be done with this. So our pin's in, our lock's set. I'm just centering it up by eye over the top. We're going to spot this with a spotting drill, and then we'll go back and drill and tap it. And we're going to do this just as a rinse and repeat. And I would prefer, of course, to be just a little bit crowding that. Now I want to run my little countersink bit down in there just because the base of the of those countersunk screws may protrude down through the bottom just a little bit. But that feels kind of tight. We may not want to do that at all. Okay, see if we can get some holes in here or some threads in here. Yeah, I think that will go, but we'll shorten up screws. So anyway, that's the way those are going to go together. Let me drill and tap the other one. We'll go and go back over to the bench and take a look at it. Well, let's see if we can't put this back together again. And we might as well put in a set of knurls. And we'll use these straight ones since the other ones are crap. So now there'll probably be a little bit of deburring and stuff on all of this, but let's see what we've got here. Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna have to deburr that. If we put our little knurl in here like this, that will set in there like that, hopefully. Come on. Well, I still got a little bit of junk there in the bottom, but we'll have to go back and deburr that all when we do final assembly and final fit. Except let's put a knurl in there. Okay. Then if we continue with this little escapade, that will go there. That one will go there. Slide our little bushing back in here again. This one will set right there like that. And then this block will go on here like that. And from there, that sets. Well, we got to hold our teeth right here before this will all go together, don't we? Let's try this again. That one goes there. That one goes there. That goes like that. Then let's set this. Actually, let's not set that on there yet. Let's make sure we've got this all together so we don't lose that pin. This will set on top like that. What are we doing here? There we go. Then this will sit on top right here like that. That will go in. And then these two socket head cap screws will go in. If we can get them aligned.
A new sauce coming to McDonald's. Well, kind of, apparently Loki is getting his own McDonald's sauce. But basically it looks like regular old sweet and sour package. What we do right now is at a ramp. It's Pearl Jam.
That cams. Now, one of the things that I did mention earlier, I believe, was a clearance issue when this was opened, I believe, all the way up. And it wouldn't clear the housing here, the notches in here. So I'll probably have to go back and open those up. We want to do that, yeah, because at that point there we're basically hitting. So we'll go back and relieve this, and it's just on the top section it appears. Yeah, because it opens up. So what I'll do is we'll just set it up off of to take off another, probably 1/8 of an inch on the top, and then blend it down to nothing. But other than that, why, basically this is done, with the exception, as far as functional, with the exception of drilling and tapping for our height adjustment on the quick change tool post and doing a lock screw. Now, I was digging through my junk drawer and I've got a little knurled knob, that straight knurled, that came off of something, have no idea what, but I will probably use it as my lock screw here. So maybe, we'll see what happens. Anyway, that's where we're at. So hopefully you find that a little bit interesting. I think next time we'll do our lock screw and probably relieve that, and then it's down to the polishing and niceties of this little project. So I'm glad to have this one about done. Anyway, hopefully you find that interesting. Comment, suggestions, leave them in the comment section for me below, guys. And as always, thanks for taking the time to watch. There we go. So that's what our knurls look like. Almost done.